Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Welcome to Two Tangled Skeins. I'm Sue, also known as Crafty Knitter 7. I'd like to welcome any new viewers and say thank you for the viewers that are coming back again.
You put up with so much.
Yeah. I'll say it in a sec. It's Saturday, November 14th, 2015. This is episode 136. And putting up with us, well, there was one lady that commented that she listens with earbuds and her husband doesn't know what she's laughing at half the time.
You know, I have to say, I was wondering earlier, I'm like, I wonder who are the people who have watched you guys from the very beginning.
There are some.
I'm sure there are.
That's really pretty.
Say hello.
Sorry, I'm now anxious for the whip portion of the program because I'm looking at Selma's hair and it's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying on. I'm Lynn, also known as Crafty. No, you're known as Crafty Knitter 7. I'm not.
I'm that good.
Sorry, I haven't had any caffeine today. I've had a sip. I'm Lynn, also known as Toll Baby. Yes, Lynn and Toll Baby are the same person. That's a running gag.
Yes, I know.
You can find us on YouTube and iTunes. No, not iTunes. I keep doing that. What the heck is it called? Twitter.
It just basically pushes the episodes. And
Yeah.
Just ripped
Just
my needle out of my project.
As well as Facebook.
You just ruined her next line.
Oh,
No, it's
sorry.
okay. I was waiting for you to...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. She just pulled her needle out. You can also find us at our blog, which is twotangledskeins.com. And it's Selma's turn.
I'm Selma, Selma123 on Ravelry. And we've also got a Ravelry group called the Two Tangled Skeins. So please come and have some conversation and knit-alongs and prizes over there.
Mm-hmm.
And Selma stole my thunder, but yes, we were going to mention the Facebook group this week because we created the Facebook group, a month ago?
And
we
didn't
kept
tell
forgetting
anybody
to mention it. So, yes, we have a Facebook group. You should come find us. Not that there's really much going on there right now, but maybe if more people join, there will be more conversation and stuff. And
You could
you
always
can
do
find
Facebook giveaways.
we
Oh,
could.
that's interesting.
You can find Sue and I on Instagram as Toll Baby and Crafty Knitter 7. And we haven't gotten Selma to drink the crazy juice yet, but we're working on it.
I'd like to. I love the idea of following people and seeing what they're up to and stuff, but I really can't handle a whole lot of social media and Ravelries. I think I spend a lot of time on Ravelry.
No.
I'm really addicted. Really.
We work together, as most of you know.
Really addicted.
We work together in the same division, but on a different floor. And we have in Messenger at work, and every once in a while it'll just be Selma's thing will pop up. Check out this pattern. Check out this pattern. Or if I'm looking for a pattern, I'm like, look at this pattern.
Yeah. When I need a little break, it's like, oh, let's go to Ravelry for a moment.
We've
of solace.
spent our lunch hours on Ravelry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
still not snowing here in Ottawa-Gatineau.
But it's only 1 degree today.
Yeah,
Not
it
Celsius.
It was -3 last night when
There
I went
was-
to fill up the car.
I brought Tyler to work at 11 o'clock last night, and it was very lightly snowing. And when I picked him up this morning at 7, it was very lightly snowing.
Really stinking
Really?
cold last night.
Yeah. No, we're
like
getting
just
there,
a
but
bit.
we really cannot complain about this fall. It has been the mildest fall.
Somebody on Facebook showed last November and this November, like yesterday's date. Yeah, it was a winter wonderland because
Was
the
it?
snow started November 2nd.
Last year?
Because we got
And then it was really mild at Christmas because when I came back from our trip,
Yeah.
I came back on the 28th of December and it was 7 degrees and there was no snow anywhere.
so foes. Who wants to go?
I have those, and I haven't started knitting yet, so I might
Okay.
as well. So, you guys haven't seen this yet?
I did.
I
did.
cast it on Tuesday
I did.
and cast it off on Wednesday.
I think it was a super bulky week for you guys.
It was a really big bulky thing.
She walked into knit night and went flump.
It was done.
I was like, what? Wait, what?
I had some Spud and Chloe outer in my stash, which is this
touch it.
gorgeous.
Hey.
Yeah.
I told her she needs to make it
And which
bigger.
shawl is this? Well, I'll let you do your thing.
And I may actually undo the bind off and add a little bit more garter stitch at the bottom because I still have almost an entire skein left. Now, granted, a skein is only 60 yards,
Yeah, but still.
but I could probably get a few rows of garter stitch out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I may undo the bottom. I'm just going to put this down and do a little bit more garter stitch. But this is the Large Lace by Caitlin French. Can you grab a corner?
Who is Canadian.
Who is Canadian. She's from Vancouver, I believe.
Yep.
And it is this really, really simple. She basically designed it to help people learn to knit lace. And it was perfect for the yarn. And once it blocks out, this is going to be a nice little shoulder warmer for me. So I was very, very happy with it.
Is that a hint I'm going to be blocking this week?
Not necessarily. I may try. I may attempt it on my own. Who knows?
Well, this will be an easy thing to block.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Caitlin French is actually a member of our group. Hi, Caitlin. She has done pattern giveaways, I think, at the beginning. Very, very beginning. No, anyway. The very, very beginning, I remember her being mentioned a couple of times. So, I think maybe Carrie was knitting something of hers.
I think so. We're talking like...
At the very beginning.
3.5 years ago.
So, it's so soft. Spud and Chloe outer. I bought this at Yarns, etc.
Wow. Ooh, which doesn't exist anymore. It was our friend Seema's shop downtown. And this was the first thing I bought from her.
So
she had these ginormous skeins of this lovely, soft, squishy yarn. And it is, I think it's 65 wool, 35 cotton. Or the other way around. But it's so soft. And it's squishy and it's spongy. And I love it. And
so how old is that stash? That's good deep stash.
I'm not sure. Probably 2010-ish. Right
Okay,
after she opened the shop. When did she open the shop? Do you remember? It was before I met you.
10.
It was just before I met you.
Yes. Because you guys told that story one day about how you met.
Because I'm such a...
Somebody told me that because I had never met Sue, and she was supposed to come help us put up the shelves for Seema's shop. And Seema had never met her either.
And I had family issues.
And a friend of mine, an acquaintance of mine, told me that Sue wasn't a very nice person and we didn't want her to come help us anyway.
And used the B word. And the person that
turns out...
I don't know this person.
She had never met her. So she was just basing this on how Sue was online. And I don't know. Anyway, it was a lot of drama. And Sue and I finally met and actually liked each other. So here we are.
Yes, but at first glance you were like, oh, that's her.
Yeah, and you were like, why do you like me? It was funny. So,
because I wasn't bitchy online.
No.
I didn't show up because I had family issues, and I told Seema.
Yep.
It was all good.
That's
Anyways.
okay. You missed the joy of trying to put up IKEA shelving with a 2-year-old underfoot.
Yeah.
Because 2-year-old little boys who don't want to take a nap and can't because we're making a lot of noise putting up the shelves. Fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, I bought this yarn probably around 2010, and I bought 3 skeins of it, not realizing that there were only 60 yards to a skein. Didn't really have enough of it to do. I couldn't figure out what I had enough to do with, so I found this shawl which called for 130 to 150 yards. Turns out I used about 126. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of her patterns are for bulky and super bulky.
Yeah, and this is a freebie on Rav. It's meant to be an introduction to lace. It's a very simple pattern.
Her
as
photography
you can see, there's nothing complicated here. Although I could have done without the knit 3-togethers in super bulky yarn on size 17.
Absolutely.
I think we could have come up with a better double decrease than that, but I actually like the way it looks. This is actually a little more orange than it's showing up on the screen. It's sort of a...
Excuse me.
I would say it's a terracotta.
Yeah, it's terracotta because it's a little bit of a faded.
Which is kind of what you're
orangey, but I love this color. And it's so soft.
No.
And we keep messing with the white balance on them. There we go.
That's all kinds
about
of
right.
different shades of...
That's about right.
We're not the only
orange.
podcasters that it happens to.
No.
No, we're having a hard time with lighting today.
And so, as I said, it's the large... The pattern is literally called Large Lace. That's it. By Caitlin French.
Spell her name so people...
That's French with 2 F's.
Oh.
Yes. F-F-R-E-E.
N-C-H.
E-N-C-H. My brain doesn't want to work. Sometimes I have trouble spitting my words out. So, and it is out of Spud and Chloe Outer in color 7205, I believe.
I put the color there.
Color 7205, because there are no color names. Which is unfortunate, because it's really, really nice yarn. I love this.
Well, we're naming it terracotta.
And it's a size US 17. I had to search 3 stores for those.
And it turns out
Which is what in millimeters?
12.75.
And I actually
millimeters.
have those.
Because I have lots of size 15s. I even have some size 20s. I did not have any.
I
17.
only have them because I have Sean's mom's needles.
And I'm babbling on and on and on about this thing. So that's the one. That's the first one. Because moving right along. We have a lot to cover today.
You tend to babble.
I do. I babble. This one you have seen. I kind of went overachiever on this and was determined I was finishing it before I went to bed last night.
And I have to say, the color is far nicer than it looked on the podcast last week or in the picture. The color is absolutely stunning. The picture,
So what's the color, Selma?
It looked very flat. We've mentioned before this friend of ours, Amy, who has a podcast called
Wild Bird
Knits. And 2 podcasts ago, she had a picture. She had some pictures at the end when she had gone to see a cranberry farm. And one of the pictures I wrote, I don't know if I wrote, I think I wrote in the thread, I was like, what a colorway that would be. And it was the cranberry fields, but basically they had put water.
It was the bog, yeah.
The bog.
Yeah,
so
they flooded the bog.
There was the color of the cranberries, the color of the water, which was totally silver from the clouds above, and then the brown from the mud around. And it was just, I was like, they were just beautiful colors. And I would say that the cranberries, they weren't red, they were pink, like a really vibrant pink.
It's
and that's
pink.
I keep saying pink and she's like, no.
Oh, sorry.
It's reddish. It's reddish pink.
But, well, I mean, of course it's in the red category, but it's kind of like the cranberry in that picture.
It is. All right, fine. It's pinkish. All right, I'm going to ask you to grab the corner again. So this is can you grab the bottom and pull?
I'm knitting here.
I know you're knitting. This is the Queen of Hearts shawl by Valerie Johnson. Sorry about that. Who is Wandering Cat Studio and Wandering Cat Yarns on Etsy. I love this pattern. I've been wanting to make it for a while.
Beautiful.
And I keep messing up the colors. Every time I show my face, it changes. So this is the...
there we go. That's closer to the color.
Handmaiden Mini Maiden in the berry colorway on size US 6, which is 4mm needles. This yarn was given to me by Janie years ago.
It's beautiful.
I had brought Dara to see her, and she just tossed this in my bag at the end of my purchase, and I was just like, okay, because I'd never... I let go of my end. I had never bought yarn this expensive before, and the fact that she was just giving it to me was amazing.
And it's interesting because there's a feather and fan thing happening with a lace thing in between.
The first chart A, is this heart section here. Chart B is the feather and fan right here. And chart C is the bottom, which is where I'm going to have to, that's going to be blocked into points. It was supposed to be finished with a picot bind off. I don't like picot bind off, but there are going to be points along the edges. So, it's super soft. Handmaiden Mini Maiden is half merino, half silk. It's so soft.
And it looks like a single ply.
It's a single ply, which makes it interesting to knit with, because it's not splitty by plies, but if you untwist a little bit of it, you can really get your needles caught in it. So I had to be careful, but so that's phone number 2. I love this one. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but
you're gonna wear it.
Well, maybe.
What do you mean maybe?
I have like 7 or 8 shawls that I've knit, and I haven't worn any of them because I can wear them for about 15 minutes and then I'm too hot. Although I think they're going to come in handy at my house this winter because it gets really, really stinking cold in my house. And I don't want to turn the baseboards up too high because electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more expensive than your old place.
Oh, I can feel the heat coming out of the register. Oh, I missed forced air heat.
Are you glad you sat over there?
Yes.
When she came in, she was cold. She's never cold.
I was freezing my butt off. It was freezing in my house until I boiled the soup this morning. So my third faux, I forgot one at my house, but I made these little hats.
Ornaments.
Yep.
What are they actually supposed to be?
They're supposed to be hats. They look like bells.
It says egg cozy hats.
Well, yeah, okay, fine. They're supposed to be egg cozies, but in the pattern it says you can use them for little Christmas ornaments.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there's a little red one too.
Bell in there.
You could. Well, actually, because I messed up the hanging thing on this one, I had crocheted it, but I hadn't anchored it properly. I have this little bit. I said we could put a jingle bell on that, and she was like, "Shut up."
Who's she? This one over here.
Yes, she was like, "No,
they're not for me. They are for me, but they're not for me."
So I've got 2 of them. There's also a red one. Actually, I can show you the red yarn.
Because I may or may not have asked for help for...
This is the red yarn.
I keep wanting to help you and I haven't gotten there yet.
So the green one is Mission Falls wool, 1824. And the white and red are... I have it here. Patton's Shetland Chunky. So the white and red ones are actually chunky yarn and the green one is worsted, but they all turned out pretty similar.
And you altered the pattern too.
I slightly altered the pattern. I'm sorry. The pattern is 4 Egg Cozy Hats by Miriam G. Briggs. It's in the... I wrote it down. Why didn't you put it in the show notes?
Oh, I didn't?
No, you didn't. It's out of the...
Designer One Skein Yarn Wonders.
Yeah, the designer One Skein Wonders book, because Sue was in an ornament swap and didn't quite have enough to complete her thing. So I had already intended on making a couple for her. So I pulled some yarn out of my stash, and this was all things that somebody had given me as part of a really big bag of de-stash. I'm actually pretty happy because they're all wool. Ha! I was actually pretty happy about that because I don't use a lot of wool, so if I can use it and get it out of the house, so much the better. The only thing I use wool for really is socks. But the stuff I really didn't have a use for, so I was very happy that I got to use it. And so there's 3 of those. Unfortunately, you can't see the red one because apparently I forgot it on my dining room table. And those were done on size 3.25 millimeter needles, which is a US 3, and 4 millimeter needles, which is a US 6. I changed the cast on because the cast on was supposed to be what? It was like 30? 36, I think. I ended up casting on 27 because I did the 36 and the damn thing was huge. I mean, it looked like a grapefruit cozy, not an egg cozy. So I ripped it out and started it again on 27, and then it looked right. So I changed that. I changed the bind off, or the decreases on the second and third hats. I followed the pattern for the first one, and I wasn't crazy about it because it was slip one, knit one, pass the slip stitch over, and I don't like that as a decrease. So I just did knit 2 togethers for the other 2 hats, and I didn't do the I-cord because I-cord. I-cord and I are not good friends.
You don't like picot edges. You don't like I-cords.
I'm not fond of them. No,
we have that in common.
Yeah, she doesn't like picot, and we attempted I-cord at the coffee shop. I was trying to explain it to her as I was doing something else, and it wasn't working, and so we just put it away. So that's my third faux. That's it. Somebody else's turn to babble now.
All right, I guess I'll start babbling. Well, I'm wearing my grandfather vest. Sorry, let me just finish this row. I'll look at you in a second.
It looks a lot more blue on screen.
It looks a lot more blue on screen. It looks a bit more royal on screen when really it's more of a navy. But this was a vest that I've been working on for the last little bit and finished it last week. It's by the pattern is by Veronique Avery, and what was the yarn that I used? A Merino Luxe, which is a combination of wool and mohair and alpaca, which is why I'm sitting over here and not next to Lynn. And overall, I'm really happy with it.
No feeling up of Selma today.
Well, I can.
I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with almost everything. I had done a little bit of short row shaping around the bust. That was the first time I did it. Not so much to create bust darts. In fact, I only did 5 short rows on each side. And when I looked at other patterns to really create bust darts, they did far more. I really just wanted to create a little bit of extra space in front so that it wouldn't buckle in the back, because I find that often sweaters tend to just somehow bunch up a little bit in the back with me, and I don't like it. So I thought, well, let's see what happens. And I know I've heard of people doing short row shaping in the back, but I thought, well, what if I do the short row shaping, create the space in the front? Will that let go of the space in the back? And it really did. So basically I did five short row shapings on each side, about 5 stitches apart, and it did the trick. I also, overall, I really like it. The one thing I was disappointed in, but it is a grandfather vest, so in a sense, you know, it's sort of a man's
Manly
shape that a woman is wearing, but I was a little disappointed with how high this was. I kind of thought, oh, I wish I had started the V just a little bit lower, and then it would be a little bit more feminine. But overall, I'm trying to see myself in the screen. The arms fit really nicely. I have to say, I never follow the instructions for armbands when I do vests, because they usually want you to cast on or pick up way more stitches than I think is necessary. And so I have a rule that I just pick up 2 out of 3 rows. So I pick up 1, 1, and then leave a space, and then 1, 1, leave a space. So over 3 rows there are always 2 picked up, and it always fits perfectly. That rule didn't quite work here, because that rule in the armband, what it does is it brings it in a little bit, because the last thing you want is a gaping armpit. Right? It's just not going to look really attractive.
Not attractive at all.
No.
Whether it's a manly vest or not.
Yeah. So that's, unless you're looking for something that's really kind of a bohemian look, but I was looking for something that was kind of fitted, and I could wear at work with a blouse and a pair of pants. That rule here, I did it first, but it didn't work because, as I said, it sort of brings things in a little bit, and you don't really want that here. So the first time I did it, I just felt like it was sort of pulling the V-neck. So I did it again, and I did pretty much every row except when I got up here. When I got up here, I went back to my 2 out of 3, so that it would keep this part closed a bit and not gape here. And then along the back, they often tell you to pick up all the stitches that you've left live along the back, but I always decrease 4 or 5 so that it goes in the back and around the neck, but then you want it a little bit looser here so that it sits down. So in the end, I'm very happy with it. I started wondering, oh, am I going to have a quandary regarding the buttons? Because I thought, you know, you can spend weeks looking for the right buttons, right? And I thought I didn't want to do that. But I found these black buttons in my small button stash. I've got a funny button stash but I bought these once, and they're antique glass buttons, and I thought that's
Did you figure out why it fell off?
I think because they're glass buttons. This one just fell off after 24 hours. I was putting the sweater on my dresser, and the button just fell off. And because they're glass, I think I need to have a lot of yarn, because I think it ate away at the yarn, like it just chafed it. And I said I have a funny little button stash because I have a little button stash that comes from my father. My father, when he's finished with a shirt and it's worn out, he cuts off all the buttons.
My grandfather used to do that.
And keeps them, and then he gave me 2 jars of buttons. So sometimes there's some interesting buttons in there. There weren't. I had bought these somewhere else once upon a time, and this is what I used. Everything in there was a little bit too manly, and it was just going to make it like a man's vest. So
you wanted a little bit of femininity.
This is it. I'm happy. I think it's a well-written pattern. I would definitely suggest it, and if you want it high, that's great, and if not, then I would suggest starting the V-neck a little lower. So that's my first faux. Next 2 faux, or 3 faux. Last time I was on, I was making a hat for my husband. So here it is. It's made out of, and it's just, geez, I really have to go in this way.
Because you were used to being on the other side.
It's a 2x2 rib, 120 stitches cast on with 3.5 millimeter needles, which is a US 7? No, 5. No.
3.75?
Yeah.
5.
No, 3.5. That's a 4. That's a 4. So there you go. And it's just a good sort of fisherman's kind of hat. I think it's going to be just
Has he tried
great
it on?
for... No, because this is going to be a Christmas present.
Oh.
So he hasn't seen it at all. So there you go. And I really like this yarn. This is the Malabrigo Arroyo that I'd gotten at the factory in Uruguay. Definitely. I'm glad I bought a sweater quantity of this. I'm looking forward to
And
working
that's a
with it.
worsted?
No, it's supposed to be sport. But
It's
I
a big
really think
sport.
it's more like a DK. It's very plump. It's very nice.
Because I'm kind of curious now.
So then the other thing that I finished, I was working on a second handbrake cowl, and I finished it.
Sorry.
So I made one out of 90 stitches, which was the first one that I did, out of Malabrigo Rios. It's smaller than the pattern calls for. Whoops, sorry. And then I made the other one with 85 stitches, and so there's
I just found my hat pattern.
that much of a difference there. The one for 90 stitches, or with 90 stitches, fits quite close to the neck, which is great if this is what you're looking for. And this, I was doing this for a kid, so I sort of felt, you know, it didn't need to be so much of a fashion statement as really functional. And then this one with 85 stitches is a little bit closer, so I have to figure out which one I want for my 8-year-old daughter, and then the other one is going to go to the Warm Hands Network. So I've got to do that soon. So one of these is going to be her birthday present, part of her birthday present.
Which is coming up.
Which is coming up. Birthday's at the end of the month.
28th?
The 28th. Same day as me. In our family...
Well, same day of the month.
Same day of the month. I'm June 28th. My daughter is November 28th. My sister-in-law is February 28th. There's like 3 people with 28th.
And your son shares my son's birthday.
That's right. June 18th. So, again, Malabrigo Rios. It's a super wash, worsted weight. I've worked with it before. I like it very much. It's a great yarn. It does pill after a little while. So if you're sensitive about that, that's something to bear in mind. But not too badly. Not like I don't know if you've ever worked with the Malabrigo worsted. That just pills horribly, I find. And so if you're sensitive to that, it would not be a yarn to use. But this one, I would recommend it.
Something does not want me to be knitting this square.
difficulty.
I just realized that I was knitting with the tail as opposed to the working yarn.
Oh,
And then
that
I undid
happens.
it and then dropped my needle.
So the other thing I finished are the socks. Ooh.
This way.
So there's the one that's not on a blocker because we're sharing blockers.
Yep.
And here's the one that's on a blocker.
That's showing up a little bit brighter than it actually is. It's a little
There
more
it's
muted.
a little bit more muted. So this is
Gorgeous
a pair
yarn.
of socks. I used the slip stitch style of patterning from the, what were they called? The
Pinstripe Socks by Julia Swart.
Right. So I didn't actually look at the pattern. Lynn just told me essentially what I needed to do, and that's what I did.
And off she went.
Off I went. It's a toe up, 60 stitches. This fits like a sweater. No, what do you call them?
Like a glove.
Pant socks, or what did you call
Oh,
them? Trouser socks.
Trouser socks.
They fit really beautifully. I did a basic gusset heel. So there's the gusset and then the basic heel, which is I think it's my favorite heel to make. And this will be my first socks to actually wear with this. So we'll see how I like wearing it. Stunning yarn to work with. It's soft as anything. It feels very lush. These feel like dressy socks.
Where's the yarn from?
The yarn is, thank you,
Welcome.
Night Owl Fibers in the Sherlock Holmes colorway. And she sells her yarn on Etsy, and we've talked about her before. Her yarn is really
We've given
lovely.
away her yarn too.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm dying to cast mine on, but I'm resisting.
Really nice.
I need to finish Rob's socks before I cast on any others.
You can just do the cast on, and that'll give you incentive.
No.
Okay.
Because then I'll want to work on mine, not his.
Because they're stripy.
Well,
And they're mine.
I look forward to wearing them. Now that I've shown them off, I can actually just put them on my feet.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it right now if you want to.
I could. I'll wait. So there you go. Beautiful yarn.
You have more self-control than my father does.
Yeah.
When I make my dad a pair of socks, as I've told you guys before, he will literally just sit down wherever he is, take off his store-bought socks and put on the hand knit ones and then walk away.
That's great.
Throwing the hand knit the store-bought socks at my mother as he goes.
If I were going to put them on right now, I think I'd want to swing my leg up in the air to show you guys, and that would probably cause a ruckus around here. So I won't do that.
I wore my Lucky Sunshine socks to
We'd
my
have
job
a show
interview.
title.
The kerfuffle episode.
Although your text might be a show title.
Oh. I wrote her a text.
Autocorrect.
I wrote her a text saying, "I'm just shoving food down quickly," saying that I'll be over soon, but I wrote shove wrong and it auto-corrected it to shave. And
I'm
so,
just shaving 4 down quickly. Is what it came out as.
And we're like, she was hysterical.
and of course I was literally shoving food down my throat, getting into the car. I got to a red light and I look at her text, which is WTF, and I'm thinking, what's she doing that for? And then I look up and I look at how it auto-corrected. That was a good laugh because I was having a bit of a bizarre moment and I was like, oh, that's great.
We thought it was fantastic.
Anyways, those are my foes. 4 foes. Yay, yay.
Sue has foes.
I do.
Sue has 2 foes.
I was getting tired of not having foes. Let's just put it that
Sue
way.
has foes.
So last Friday night, I decided to pull out the yarn that my husband bought me in 2010 in DC when he was there visiting. It's Cascade Magnum.
So it's super bulky.
I decided to make the textured cowl by Abby Gregorio out of Cascade Magnum on size 10mm needles, which is a US 15.
That's really washing us out, but the yarn is just about perfect.
Yeah, and I did 2 extra repeats because I wanted it, like, you know.
Up to her face.
This is for the -30 weather.
Yes, for those of you who watched last week's podcast, and
it
she
was
recorded
for her budding bank robbery career.
could be where she recorded me having it over my head. Yeah.
Best part is she'd been doing that for a few minutes, and I kept saying I'm going to turn it on, and she's like, "No, you wouldn't dare." So I did.
So yeah,
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's thick, it's bulky, it's gonna be perfect, and I've had the yarn and the pattern in my queue for ever since I got the yarn. Then I decided to make the Vermonter hat by the same designer.
Well, because she had yarn left over.
I had a whole skein, so I made a hat with a really, I have to trim. Yeah, I keep having to trim the pom-pom.
It's super floofy.
It's huge. It's like the size bigger than a
Size
tennis
of your
ball.
head.
I have to say, I love pom-poms, but I find them difficult to make.
Oh,
I know that sounds crazy because they're really easy, but
I have a pom-pom maker, but I didn't use it. I didn't use it. I went on YouTube because it said use the wrap around your palm method, and you just look on YouTube. So you wrap it around your palm, and then you put the yarn through and tie it, and then cut.
That's fantastic. I've always done it where I cut out a circle of cardboard.
No.
Like make a donut.
You can do it on your hand.
You could. That would be interesting to try.
So it said it right in the pattern to do it.
I just find they end up a little floppy.
You know, this one's not floppy.
No.
Because you have a really make sure you
floppy that they're not.
Yeah.
You want like a full pom.
Use a really
I
long
want to see.
a really long tail.
Put the hat on.
No.
I've
got a bandana on.
Put the hat on.
Not putting the hat on.
Put the hat
Nope.
on. You guys want her to put the hat on too,
I'm not
don't
putting
you?
the hat on.
Put
I
the
have a
hat
bandana on.
We'll see if we can get some bloopers later.
Yes, maybe later. Not right now. I love you. And so my third faux, which is unfortunately not my sweater for my husband. I really...
She's this close. Very close.
I'm 5 inches into the second sleeve, and you'll see that in my whips. But I made another snowball buddy. I made a reindeer.
They're so damn cute.
So I decided to use pipe cleaners because, as Lynn said...
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And I found twirly pipe cleaners. I don't know if you can see the twirls. So they really do look like...
Little antlers.
Little
They're
antlers.
so cute.
Aww.
So I finished that, and
She finished that while we were waiting for Selma.
I put the ears and the antlers
Because
on.
she had knit the ears, but
That
she had
makes
not
it sound
attached
like they
them.
waited a really long time.
No.
We waited forever.
Ever and ever. And those are my 3
I
faves.
skipped lunch because she
Hey.
told me to get here early. I have a pot of soup sitting on the stove that I made.
Come on.
Oh, really making her feel bad.
You know,
aren't you?
I am converting to Judaism. This is part of the process. I have to work on my guilt.
Oh, right.
What?
Nobody can induce guilt like a Jewish mother.
So I just want to show you the pattern in case you wanted to see it. Sorry, crinkling.
Crinkle, crinkle.
Crinkle. Oh, stop. So...
Because I'm not sorry.
That's the pattern. So far, I'm working on another one, but I've done the owl, the bunny, and the deer.
And you've got the mouse yarn.
That I'll show in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So, whips. Should I continue?
Go for it.
All right. So,
Center stage.
whips.
Since I'm mid-row.
Whips. I'm doing the mouse. So you knit the sweater part first. So I did a 3-color because, you know, Christmas. And then I cast on the gray for the body, and I'm at the point where I can stuff it. So I can't go any further until I stuff it with the polyfill.
Oh, so that... Okay, because with the other guy, the colored stuff was the head, whereas this one, the colored stuff is the bottom. Oh, so cute.
Yeah, it's the sweater.
Yeah, my tails are too long.
Because it's kind of like... Yeah.
My skeins are getting tangled.
The bunny, it's a scarf. The owl, it's the hat. And the reindeer, it's the hat. So the mouse.
But the mouse is the sweater.
Yeah. So really cute. And these are on 3.75, which is a US 5.
Or the mouse that's sitting in the hat.
Well,
Could be that too.
yeah, but it's a sweater. It's cute. So that's on my needles. The other thing on my needles is my blanket. And so I have started over. I did do a whole bunch of swatches. I'm not perfectly happy with it. But no, Selma's not bossy.
I felt bossy.
She suggested I don't rip it out. Just do it.
No, I didn't. I told you.
Right, you did.
Totally bossy.
So she is bossy
There you
McBossy pants.
I'm Bossy McBossy pants.
So I have 4.
Yay.
They'll work out eventually.
I don't understand what it is that you don't like.
Because they're lopsided. They're not the same. Like
That'll all work out.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, because of the diagonal line, some of them are going in one direction, some of them are going in a different direction?
No, the lines are in the same direction. This one is kind of crooked. Perfectly square, small.
Yeah,
It'll
all work out. The same with my blanket, which I brought today to show you guys. It's the same kind of thing. Some squares are slightly bigger, and in the end, I don't think it matters.
And I think I ended up on, what, 2.25s? I'll tell you in a second.
Didn't you put it in your...
No, I put 2.5s, but I don't think that's what I ended up. That was what the other blanket was on. Yes, 2.25s.
So US 1.
1.
I'm actually tempted to print the conversion chart that Yarn Forward has on their website.
I have one printed over there.
Yeah, but I want to print it big so we can have the UK sizes too.
I have it on that piece of paper right there. I can see it.
Oh, fine. You can read it.
No, I can't read it. It's in...
Okay.
It's standing up beside my printer.
Yeah, certainly no globalization in all these different styles of measuring.
And my last whip.
Da, 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 da. It's almost a faux. It's
So
almost a faux.
close. I think next week we should have Sean Parade in here wearing it.
I wanted to finish it, but I just... Last night I was sewing, and I had given you my 4-point needles, and I was like... So I went and bought 4.4 millimeter needles, but I didn't do anything with them.
I'm sorry.
Not your fault. So that's the sleeve. And yes, he did try it on and tell me how much ribbing he wanted. He only wanted a little bit.
Oh, so there's a garter section down the side.
It's down the side.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Makes it different. So
Well,
here,
if he doesn't actually parade in, I think there needs to be a little inserted video.
so that's the other sleeve. It is on size 5 millimeter, which is a US 8. This yarn is an SMC Northern Wool Tweed from Webb's, which is discontinued. And I probably won't need all 9 balls that I bought, because the yarn I bought was for the Guston, and that's how much I needed for the Guston. But this one, I don't think I'm going to need it.
Yeah, I bought...
Because I went a little shorter in the length.
Apparently, we moved the camera.
Oh, my
Yeah.
bag fell.
That's okay.
Oopsie. My bag fell. There we go.
There we go.
So
We're back.
I did it a little shorter, and the sleeves aren't as long either, because I had them try it on.
I didn't use anywhere near as much yarn as it called for.
I have to say, I almost never, ever use the amount of yarn that a
So,
pattern calls
you know, Sue has to make herself another sweater bag, and yes, I'm using my sparkly yarnet. I need to make myself another sweater bag, which is in a pile over there because I have bags to make for other people. But I really need to make it because this is the awesome granny bag.
And
it's pretty full.
And I can fit this in there if I really jam it down. So that's it for my whips.
That's awesome.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Poop.
Or her turn. Somebody's turn. It's just not mine.
I think we're both in the middle of a row, but I'm almost there. Who's going to get to the end of the row first?
I'm not going to bother
I
trying.
am.
I'm not going to bother trying.
All right. There is the end of my row, so I'll talk about what I'm working on right now.
Sorry, you're going to see the top of my head because everything
I'm
fell.
making a pair of socks for a friend of mine. Well, we're just making all kinds
That's
of
the
noise.
bed.
All kinds of stuff.
Is it going to collapse under us?
No, there's a piece of wood under there, but it just means that one of the slats popped out.
Well, if you see us all go down.
Didn't it happen once when Carrie was here?
I don't know.
Or it happened once when Carrie was here, but I don't think we were recording. She basically
I've never seen that.
moved and then moved really quickly, and the whole bottom just went clunk.
Okay, don't move. Can I talk about my whip?
You can.
All right. Here is a sock. A plain sock.
Isn't that pretty?
Mm-hmm.
That orange is a little more coral than it's showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's showing up pretty red on the screen.
I showed my friend my featherweight that I'll show you guys in a little bit, and then she said, "When are you gonna make those socks for me?" And I was like, "Well."
Oh.
We went on a little vacation in June to celebrate her birthday because she changed decades. And we went to the Prince Edward County, which is about 3 hours from Ottawa. It's halfway between here and Toronto. And it's on Lake Ontario. It's where Sandbanks Provincial Park is, and which is beautiful. And it's also wine country. So it's just a beautiful area for...
And there's breweries there, too.
There are breweries, there are vineyards, there's Lake Ontario, which looks turquoise, and there are these little old loyalist towns. It's just a beautiful, beautiful area. And so I took her there to celebrate a birthday, and we went to a yarn shop in Picton. I don't remember the name of the yarn
I love
shop.
Picton.
Do you know the name of the yarn shop?
No, I've
Suddenly
never been to the yarn shop. That's where I go to buy cherries.
I will have to put that in afterwards because I feel bad that we don't have the name of the yarn shop. And I ended up buying this yarn there, which is Opal, the Little Prince series, and it is color 77 or FOB as they call it, 7760. If you happen to like it, and I've actually ended up calling these my safari socks because I find it's kind of got an African feel to it almost, you know.
Really
With the orange and the browns and a little bit of green and gray. And actually it's interesting because this friend of mine lived in Africa for years in different countries. So anyway, these are for her, and I'm working on the second one. So they'll probably be done by the end of the week.
Is it Rosehaven Yarn? 187 Main Street.
Yeah.
In Picton.
I guess that's it.
Is that
Rosehaven Yarn.
Is that the store?
Rosehaven Farm Store. That does not sound familiar. We will look it up and we'll put it in case you're interested. And you're ever going to be in that area, there's a yarn store. And it's a lovely store. They've got some clothes as well. And they've got Quince and Company yarns. They've got lots of different Regia. I guess it is. Yes, it is. That's it. It is Rosehaven Yarn Shop.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the show notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a beautiful area to visit, whether you go with girlfriends or with friends, or you go on a little romantic getaway.
I'd like to go with Sean so that he can do breweries and I can do the wine.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's gorgeous. And when the weather's nice, you've got the beach.
And didn't Martha say there's these little cottages you can rent?
Oh, we always end up staying in there are 3 towns kind of in a row from one another, and we always end up staying in Wellington, the last town, at this cute motel. It's right on the lake. It's got huge grounds, so if I'm there with family, we always stay there. And I ended up staying there last summer with this friend and another friend. There were 3 of us that went, and we stayed there and we had a great time.
Wine and yarn.
Yeah. Yeah. And we went to a great restaurant and a lovely apiary, and we had wine tastings.
See an apiary, that would be right up Sean's alley.
Oh yeah, I bought probably one of the best hand creams I've ever bought from that apiary. I think it's called
having
Queen Bee.
issues over there.
Anyway, enough about that. But that's where this yarn comes from, and this is a work in progress. My next work in progress is my featherweight. Oh, I forgot to say that I usually have a sock going these days, and they are practically always in my bag by Sue. Like the perfect sock bag.
Sock size. Such cute fabric.
And I had a little bit when I was finishing the night owl socks, the socks out of the night owl.
I got a panic phone call.
I'm like, I had this, I don't know if
in your lunchbox.
On top of my stuff in the lunch bag. And I took it out, and suddenly there was this bright red patch on it. And I'm like, oh no, because my husband made us a salad for lunch, and I thought, oh, there were beets in there, and it leaked onto my bag. So, and then it was on the yarn as well, and on the sock, just a little bit, not a whole lot there. And I got home, and I said to my husband, I'm like, the beet leaked all over it. But I thought, well, beet doesn't actually dye very well, so it'll probably come out easily. He said, no, I didn't put any beets in the salad. And I'm like, oh, it was the raw cranberry relish. I had made a raw cranberry relish. Anyway, I soaked this and soaked this and soaked this, and there's still a little kind of beigey gray circle there.
I think if you wash it a few more times, it'll be gone.
But I soaked it in the best stuff I have, and anyway, it's not bad. It's barely noticeable.
We wouldn't know it.
That was a bit.
Yeah, I got a phone call when I'm on the bus. She usually ends up calling me when I'm transferring from one bus to another, so I always miss her phone call. And then I sit down in the bus and go, oh, my phone's beeping. And then I call Selma back as I'm on the bus, and then she's like, I had to tell you, I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm glad there was only a little bit on the yarn, because
yeah,
you can
a bag
sort of
is
see
one
it on
thing.
One of the socks.
A bag is one thing, but
a pair of socks that
yeah.
you're just spending on. So anyway, my next project, which is a featherweight that I'm knitting, I am housing in a new bag. So this is kind of part of stash. This is a bag I got on Etsy. It turns out that this person is from the Ottawa area. And I was really drawn to her stuff because, first of all, it's made out of linen, and I have to, I love linen.
yes.
And she prints the fabrics herself. So she's a silk screen printer.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And her stuff is beautiful. She's called Jenna Rose, and I think on Etsy, she's Jenna Rose Handmade. Let me see here. Somewhere there's a tag. Yeah, it's Jenna Rose Handmade. And, you can find her stuff on Etsy. So, I can't find the tag now, even though I know it's in there. So, I'm making the featherweight. If you watched when I shared my Rhinebeck stash, you'll know that I bought some bittersweet yarn in a very sparkly puce color. I have to say, after she said it's almost like puce, I was like, I find that to be one of the most unattractive words.
It is, but it's a really nice color.
And so I went home and I looked up puce. What is this actually? And it said a reddish brownish color. And
with purple.
Yeah, and this is essentially what it is. If you can see that.
That's actually one of my favorite lines in Monsters, Inc. One of the guys is going through the form and he goes, oh, that's puce.
So I just divided for the sleeves. I haven't worn it yet. I haven't tried it on. I'm going to have to try it on when I get home. But I think it's going to fit. So I'm making it out of the bittersweet. I've got all three skeins going and alternating colors so that it's sort of even throughout, which is a little bit annoying because there's, it gets a little tangled.
Yarn management.
Yeah.
I'm knitting it on 3.75.
You know what that means? You need 3 yarn knits so that nothing gets tangled. Or one of the big ones, but the big ones aren't out
so
yet.
a US 5?
Is that what that is?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. You'll learn eventually.
Yeah. And it's great. It's, the featherweight.
It only took me 3 years.
The featherweight's a very easy pattern. It's essentially a basic top-down sweater knit out of lace or fingering weight.
And I mean, this designer
It's by Hanna Fettig, which also the calligraphy
Yep.
is out of her. She's got lots of designs. She also designed the wispy cardigan, which has been made by gazillions of people. And, I think it's a great starter pattern. It's a very basic top-down pattern. And even though it's meant for lace weight fingering, I think if you're kind of starting with top-down and you start with this, you could easily adapt this to other
people. If you look up projects in the project page and you look at people's projects, and then in the search just type in DK or worsted, and it'll pop up with all the sweaters that are knit in that weight, which I really like.
I'm enjoying it because I'm enjoying the yarn. I do feel that I've been making a lot of stocking knit projects lately, and I'm getting a little bored, and so my next project is going to have lace or cables or something, because I'm feeling I don't know, does that make me a stockinette zombie? Because that's what I'm feeling like.
You're a Megan and an Amy. You're a stockinette zombie.
I'm feeling kind of like, okay, here we go again, going up forward and backwards. But anyway,
but stockinette sleeves go really fast with that little bit of garter.
The yarn is so, like, it's sparkly and it's variegated and it's easy, So I'm doing that as well.
Is it still soft even though it's sparkly? Like, what do you think of it? Because the only sparkly yarn that I've ever knit with, and I'm knitting with right now, is Vesper, and it's sparkly, and it's my daughter's socks, but it feels like I'm knitting with, like, hay. Like, it's a really, really weird feeling.
I think the base has a big thing to do with it. And I have to say, I'm not the kind of person who's really drawn to soft.
No, because
Because,
linen, cotton.
Yeah, and also I'm, the couple of times that I've made sweaters out of yarn that has pilled, I've just been profoundly disappointed. Because, you spend however much time you spend on a sweater. If you're fast, maybe it only takes you a couple of weeks. If you're medium, it takes you a month. It might take you 6 months.
If you're the sweater, it takes you 2 or 3 days.
No, that's not true.
That's because she was monogamous.
But even then, it took me a month. I have about
28 days.
I have about 40 minutes of knitting I can do a day. I don't have that much time to knit. So anyway, but I made
young children.
I made the February lady sweater out of the Malabrigo worsted, and 2 months later, it just looked like crap. And so now it's my house coat kind of thing that I wear over my PJs, but it was just really disappointing to have a sweater look so horrible after a while. That might not matter to everybody, but it does to me, because I actually have a sweater, a cardigan that I wear once in a while, that there's a picture of my mother wearing it when I'm an infant, and that sweater looks perfect. You would never know it was made.
You also have the
a really
Chanel
long time
suit.
ago. There's also the Chanel suit that I showed one time, and those were made with yarns that don't pill. They're good quality yarns. So that, to me, soft is less of an issue. I want something to look good after a while. So.
Yep.
Anyway. All right. That's enough babbling on that one. I have made some progress, and I've picked up my blanket. She's going to call me an overachiever. I know she is.
Nope. What kind of word? Just thinking it really, really loudly.
Since the last time I was here, I've added 2 rows of squares. So I added.
And you say you don't have time to knit or crochet.
Well, I haven't showed this in over a month. So
yeah, because you were here 2 weeks ago.
And I'm showing it to you backwards. So I did this top row, which has got all kind. This is one that Lynn gave me. This purple
That
one.
is 3 Irish girls. Shake your tail feathers.
You also gave this one to me, which was a J-Wall Lang. That I don't know where you got it from.
J-Wall Lang Magic. The 6-ply, or it says a 6-ply. To me, it looks like a single.
It does.
I had started a baby surprise jacket out of that and ended up taking it apart. There is gray, there's blue, yellow, white.
This one. I was like, I would make a pair of socks out of that.
I bought it at Wabi Sabi. In case you're wondering.
Okay. Well, this is one of Juliana's, this green one. This one I have no recollection. This is this yellow one you also gave to me.
That is Socks That Rock Heavyweight.
Yeah.
In what the heck was the color name?
But as you can see,
Anyway.
Sue, this one I was like, whoa, this is thick, and it made a bigger square than the others. But in the end, it's not going to matter, right? And some of them are finer because these are all fingering weight yarns. Some of them are, light fingering, and some of them are heavy fingering. Then the other row that I did was on the other side of the blanket. Somebody was asking me, I think it was Kathy, Knitting Crazy, I think is your rab name. You were asking me how I join the squares. Basically what I do, if you don't mind my explaining this right now, can't seem to get myself together here. I knit the square, and then I knit one row of cream around it, and then I basically join it as I crochet the second row. So when I'm doing the two chain between, I basically do a slip stitch into the previous square, and I join in the corner by going to the diagonal opposite and doing a slip stitch into it before I go back. I don't know if that helps at all, but that's basically how I do it. If I were to do this again, I think what I would do is actually do the proper, I'm making the granny square with a half doubles. I'm using half doubles here. I think I would do one row rather than two rows, and on that one row do a half double in the other direction to add it on. Does that make any sense at all?
Yes.
Semi-sense anyway?
If you're a crocheter, it probably
you can kind of see it there. The thing I like about crochet, because I am really not an expert in crochet, like this is about as good as it gets for me. But the thing I like about crochet is whatever you do, if you do it regularly, it's going to be fine. So if you devise a method that works for you, and as long as you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's going to work. We had a little
mix-up.
We had a little glitch there, so we're back.
Okay, so now it's my turn. Whips. I've got the checkerboard lace scarf, which I'm not sure I'm going to bring next week because, quite frankly, more of the same. It's just getting a little bit longer, and boy, oh boy, is it getting longer. And I've used about half the yarn, so I'm pretty happy with it. So I've done from the green marker up. I got 2 pattern repeats done this week. This is the checkerboard lace scarf by Pearl Soho out of Bijou Base and Xanadu, which is so nice.
It's beautiful.
And I found myself a shorter needle, so I'm pretty happy about that. I got to fit it in a project bag without putting it on circs that didn't fit it. So that's my first whip. Sorry, just get it out of the way. And it lives in my Amanda Panda bag. Haha. Which I love. I love this bag. It's so cute. I have a hoe, which is underneath everything. This is the first of Rob's socks. As you can see, I did a contrast toe. And this time we don't get to deal with Selma's surprise over the contrast toe because she couldn't see it. She was only looking at the edges, like the flat.
Well, and because I've got the window too.
Yeah. So I had to turn it this way, and she was like, "Oh yeah!" But the black is Cascade Heritage, and the blue is Cascade Heritage Silk. Ironically, the Cascade Heritage is softer than the silk. So this is my plain vanilla sock, based on Sock Recipe, A Good and Plain Sock by Stephanie Pearl McPhee out of Knitting Rolls. And I do a 2x2 rib because Rob has wonky ankles. He has one that's held together with pins and screws, so it's considerably bigger than the other. This lets the socks stay up on both legs, and he doesn't have to figure out which is the left sock, which is the right sock. I do my usual flap heel. I don't know what this is called. It's a slip stitch flap heel. I hate knitting them, but they fit.
You've experimented and come to the conclusion of
this is the heel. Well, I haven't tried the sweet tomato yet. I want to try that one. Who knows?
Is it you that posted that on Facebook?
What?
The heels? Oh no, that was me.
Yeah.
You posted what?
I don't know.
Cast-ons? You posted a big picture with a whole bunch.
I don't know. I haven't had internet for a whole week, woman. I have no idea what I did. That was a while ago. And I do my 4-3-2-1 toe, which is a more rounded toe than the standard.
Wait, explain that again. How does the 4-3-2-1 work?
Well,
Sorry.
it's
Every
ingeniously
fourth row,
named.
and then every third row, and then every second row, and then every...
Nope. What it does is you start your decreases here, and it's a little more rounded than the standard, alternate rows. So what you do is the decreases start all the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
You do your first decrease, then you do 4 rows.
Okay.
Then you do your second decrease, then you do 3 rows. Then you do your third decrease, you do 2 rows. And then you do the alternating rows. Which I learned during the Grok the Sock class with the yarn harlot.
Right, so it just sort of eases into it a little bit more.
Yeah, it rounds it a little bit more so that the bottom is a little more rounded. The top is still sort of, I haven't figured out how to
More
fix
angular.
that, but, and Rob finds it fits nicely, so he likes it. So that's the first sock. I couldn't cast on the second one until I saw Sue because I needed her little pocket scale to weigh the ball of yarn and weigh the sock and see if I had enough to do the second sock out of. I do. So that's good. I wouldn't have if I hadn't done the contrast tear. So that's that. That's my second. And that's on size 2.5 millimeter needles, which is the US 1.5. Did I say the needles for the... what was the other? Oh, sorry. The scarf is on size US 7 needles, which is 4.5 millimeters. So that's my sock. And then there's my scrappy blanket. I have done 4.5 squares since you've seen me last. This yellow one here is, and I put the notebook away.
I'm having issues casting on.
Elizabeth, I'm using my notebooks.
I need to know where you got that, Elizabeth.
Yep.
Because I must.
They're awesome. So, because I put all my, what I can identify in the notebook. The yellow is No Maker's House Gnome in eggs. I opened my farm stand mini set. So I've been doing, sorry, my other one is getting in the way here. I've been doing the farm stand minis. So this is eggs in House Gnome. This one is watermelon in Scruffy Gnome. This one is bacon in the Bungalow Gnome.
I don't know who eats watermelon with bacon, but anyway.
Nobody said you had to eat them at the same
No,
time.
they didn't.
It says farm stand, not breakfast.
No, oh, you're right. Sorry, but
Farm
with the
stand.
eggs and bacon, it just made me think of breakfast.
The eggs and the bacon, the house gnome and the bungalow gnome are very fine sock yarn. I find them to be a little thinner than most sock yarns. The scruffy is a little bit thicker, so it all works out. The one I'm working on right now is the scruffy gnome in blackberries. And this little guy here is pretty special. This one is the handmade mini maiden from the Queen of Hearts shawl. Held double with the bijou base and Xanadu from the scarf. So I'm pretty thrilled with how it turned out. It's very, very soft. So soft. It's a little bit thicker than a standard sock yarn. It's probably closer to a sport. But it'll all work out. I'm not worried. And it's so soft. I've been petting it since last night because I had to do this before I went to bed, of course. So those are the 4.5 squares that I've done since you saw it last. I didn't get one done every day, but that's because I was overachieving with shawls. So those are my whips. Stash.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm on a roll here. As you guys know, I won the Juliana Cal in her group, and that meant that I could choose any skein of yarn from her shop. So I chose the MCN worsted because I've been coveting it since it came out. It's gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. I got the MCN worsted in the charcoal colorway.
And she was a good podcaster. She didn't cast it on.
That's right. I wanted to cast this on the second I got my paws on it because Rob misplaced his hat. And he asked me if I would knit him another hat. He's been wearing the fuggliest hat I have ever knit in my entire life for 3 years. He deserves a nice new hat.
Well, when she explained what she meant by fugly.
Oh, it was ugly. It was a Siemens cap, sort of like the one that you did. But the top was Elleray Merino black. But he wanted the brim to be blue. Like, he wanted a fold-up brim, and he wanted it to be blue. And the only blue I had in my stash at the time, 3 years ago, was Softy Chunky in this bright blue variegated colorway, and it was the ugliest damn stuff, but he insisted it had to be blue, so I put the really, really ugly yarn on the black. And it has been the ugliest damn hat I have ever knit. And that's saying something, because I have knit some ugly hats. I've done.
He wore it proudly.
He wore it for 3 years. So, dude asks for a new hat, he will get a new hat. And I think I'm going to use the pattern that Selma used for her husband's hat. I'm going to use that sort of.
Aren't our husbands or boyfriends spoiled with hats? Because Sean's last hat was made out of yak.
She was horrified that I was going to waste this on Rob.
But then I thought, I just made my husband a hat out of yak when he said I don't need more hats, and he got a hat anyway.
Well, and the first one that I made for Alejandro that he lost was made out of baby Surrey alpaca by Americo, which is a company out of Toronto, and it's probably the butteriest yarn and one of the more expensive yarns that I've worked with. Lost.
So Rob gets the MCN worsted. It's 80% superwash merino wool, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and it is 200 yards in 113 grams.
And hopefully
so it's a little bit. I mean, to me, it looks a little bit lighter than a worsted, but I think it's going to bloom a little bit when I wash it after. Mm-hmm. So I'm not concerned that this will not keep him warm. This will keep him plenty warm.
And their winters are as cold as ours, aren't they?
No, Chicago's the
JulianasFiber.com. It doesn't get as cold.
No, but I didn't realize that when they said windy, they meant windy. When we went downtown.
Yeah, the waterfront is really, really windy.
You might want to knit it quite densely so that it helps against some of that wind.
And this is new to me stash, but it came from Sue's stash. She was going through her sock yarn and she's like, I really don't like this colorway. And I'm like, I do. And she was like, here.
Well, I didn't like the colorway and it sparkled.
This is actually a friend of mine from LSG. Which is Lazy, Stupid, and Godless on Ravelry. I know this lady, and she's a very nice lady. She produces some amazing yarn.
She was local to the swap person I had. It's just not me.
But it is from the Cyborgs Craft Room. You can see right there. And it is a Sparkleate base. A lot of her stuff is Borg related. It's a running gag. So this is 75% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 5% silver stellina. 436 yards to 100 grams. And this is the soulless colorway, which I just love. And it is showing up exactly the way it looks.
Solace or
soulless?
Soulless.
And I love it. It's very nice. So that's my stash. Your turn.
My turn. I got deja vu.
We are recording a second time here.
Yes, so I purchased a bag from Amanda, who is Little Panda 518, who we call Amanda Panda. She was showing a huge sweater bag size that she made for Jen, who is the Uncreative Crafter podcast.
What's Amanda's shop name?
I'm getting there.
Okay, sorry.
It's from Stitched Together 4G. And you leave my braid alone. Stitched Together 4G. And so she showed this one, and I'm like, mine. She's like, but it's not in the shop. PayPal me. I want it. It's autism awareness. Basically what she's calling it. It's orange inside, and I just love that it has this, like...
It looks like calling it, or are there funds going to autism awareness?
No,
but
she will be doing something in April. I think April is Autism Awareness Month, and she's going to be donating. Like she has a lot of this fabric.
Wonderful.
She's going to be donating towards autism. So I got that, and I got something from Jimmy Bean's Wool, which is the beadie bags. So it's a little pencil case here.
Beanie bags.
Yeah, beanie.
Yeah, you said beadie.
No, I said beanie.
No, you didn't.
Okay, whatever. Beanie, beadie. On the back, it's cute. It says, don't touch, and you can choose scraps, notions, size, number needles, and none of your beeswax. It's kind of really cute. And inside, here we go again. So there are 4 little minis inside. This one is...
They're all from Shibui.
They're all from Shibui. This is Staccato, and the colorway is Trail, and it's 20 yards, and it's basically like a chained yarn.
Made of 70% superwash merino and 30% silk.
There we go. Yes, in front of my face works.
Told ya.
The next one, oh, it's really lush. If I can get the little tag out. When I first got it, I was like, how am I supposed to know which is which? But I couldn't see the tags. This one is Mai,
which is 70% super baby alpaca, 30% fine merino wool.
That's the one that I am coveting. It's more of a DK weight.
Come on, focus.
It doesn't want to.
No.
I can't help you with that one.
I know.
They're all brown. They're all essentially the same colorway.
Yeah, they're all like the same colorway trail. And this one is Pebble,
which is 48% recycled silk, 36% fine merino, and 16% cashmere.
No focusing. And last but not least, overheating. This one is the Sima,
which is the 70% super baby alpaca and 30% fine merino. I think it's kind of neat to see how the dye takes on different fibers.
And they sent a little soak packet, and it has a darning needle attached on the back.
And it comes with this nifty little postcard that has all the descriptions and stuff on the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of cool. Selma, your turn.
Well,
Selma maybe has a little bit of stash.
Well, maybe.
Not deja vu because you hadn't said anything about your stash. And
no. Sorry?
You didn't do your stash, and we did the giveaway.
Yeah, I think we did the giveaway before
first.
the stash.
Oh well, keep going.
Anyway,
We'll do it after.
Whatever. I thought I'd be on a diet after I came back from
I
Rhinebeck.
thought we did it before the
But when I came back from Rhinebeck, there was a Ottawa Knitters Guild sale. There was a birthday sale at a local yarn store, Wabi Sabi. And I happened to be on the Fondant Fiber website, and there was a yarn.
Happened.
I just happened. I go on there occasionally.
Something fell in her cart.
It's kind of like the string theory thing that
So
I just happened to...
Yeah, and then there are a couple other things that happened. One thing that happened that I'm very happy about is that Sue made me a bag. And I'm very happy with it. This is a fabric that when I was cleaning out my mother's basement, I came across. And this was one that I bought in Finland.
Yeah, it even had Finland written on the side of the
decades
fabric.
ago. It was a Marimekko fabric, I think.
Yep.
And it's silver.
My hair tie just went flying across.
It's a silver and sort of shimmery blue.
And I had a really hard time trying to find a match.
Oh, that's coming out as royal, but really it's purple.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a new bag. In fact, that's not the only bag I've got. I had also seen this bag on Etsy at Nomadic Yarns. And whoop, it was part of the Halloween. And it was the Frida Kahlo that did it for me. When I saw the Frida Kahlo, it's got Frida Kahlo's portrait with the skulls, which is a really Mexican thing. So I just thought this bag was so much fun. So I bought it.
Okay, so sugar skulls are Mexican?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's part of their Dia de los Muertos,
Oh,
November
okay.
1st thing.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be, there's a big thing around skeletons and skulls in Mexico. I bought this as a de-stash from somebody on Ravelry. It is Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Time colorway.
So it's touchable.
It is.
Sorry, had to.
I was a little disappointed. It's lovely, and I will use it. But in the person's picture, it was a bit more mint-like, whereas
That's
here it's a bit
sage.
more sagey. And I was looking for something
Well, you
kind of
know.
minty. Goes down the shirt. It's going to
Sorry.
go from one shirt
That's got to go
to the
down mine
next.
too, because I love this
So
stuff.
I will do something, but you know that the Juliana that you gave us each, the gray with the variegation of pinks and blues and yellows and green. When I saw the mint green, I thought that'll go so nicely with the gray, and I was going to make a shawl with the two, and this doesn't go with the gray. So this will become something else at some point.
It's Mad Tosh.
Exactly, and it's really wonderful yarn. So as I said, I went to the Ottawa Knitting Guild sale, and I ended up buying 2 skeins of yarn from a local dyer who's also on Etsy as Crazy Dog Yarns. Oh, sorry, I keep
Who
going
is
off.
Janet from our local knit night.
And this one is, I just thought it was a gorgeous mustard yellow.
I was gonna say it's your color.
I love mustard yellow, and
Okay.
I happened to see Teresa, who's proper on Ravelry, there, and she was wearing mustard yellow socks. And then I turned around and I saw this on the table. I was like, that's it. I want mustard yellow socks too. This one is a crazy bright. It's not coming up as neon on the camera, but this is a self-striping yarn. And I just thought it was so much fun. It's called Ingrid's Understanding. I think it's got 7 different colors. And
what's the yellow called?
The yellow is called Grey Poupon. Like the mustard. So, and I really liked her base. It was quite a plump base. So I thought, okay, let's give that a try. So I got that at the Ottawa Guild sale. I mentioned the fondant fibers. Sorry, I've got my stuff down here. So when I was on her website, sorry, I keep
You're
doing
used
that.
to being on the other side of the couch.
I am. She had this yarn, which is a fingering weight, and it's the Yorkshire Finest 4-ply, which is a British wool, BFL, and nylon.
It's a little rough.
Going back to
It's
our
BFL.
conversation about sock yarns and different types of sheep, I've been on this kick of trying to find different things. So when I saw this, I was at first a little disappointed because I thought it was a little bit more yellow on the website, and it really is an oatmeal color but in the end I thought, actually, I really like this. It's got sort of like earthy red and earthy brown. Well, brown is always earthy.
See, that's the problem when you're taking pictures of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially yarn. Bags and stitch markers and stuff, you can get the pictures right. But I had bought 2 skeins of a DK blue, and it was a royal blue in the picture, and that's what I wanted. When I got it, it was such a muted blue, and I contacted the seller, and she actually refunded my money and said, keep the yarn. I was like, but she was like, yeah, it's not what I said it is or what the picture says. It was really not. Yeah.
Would you like it back now?
Maybe.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm really happy with it now, but at first I was like, oh, this was not what I thought it was going to be, but I really like the reds.
It is nice.
I like the reds and the browns that are going through it. And I remember watching Disa, and Disa had received Disa's Craftwork, and she had received some knitter's soap from Fondant Fiber. And so this is actually meant for washing, gentle cleansing and conditioning of your freshly hand-spun yarns and your precious hand knits.
It's kind of
My
like
hand knits are going to smell so amazing. I think this is absolutely...
Yeah, it's kind of like Tuft Woolen. They have soaps as well. Yeah.
But when I've looked their stuff up, they were sold out.
Yep, they're always sold
So
out.
when I bought the yarn, I thought...
can't think of what candy that makes me think of.
Oh, it doesn't make me think of candy. There's a rose, but there's also something woody. It's almost...
No.
It's called mahogany. This is the mahogany scent, and oh.
See, to me it smells like candy.
Oh, really? Anyway, so let's see how it works out. I'll report back. And then the last thing, again, on the sock yarn kick. I got this at the Wabi Sabi sale. It was the only thing that I walked out with, which
like
I have to say I'm very
skein.
proud of myself. It is. It's more of a sport weight, DK weight sock yarn. It's a 6-ply by Regia. Yeah, I mean, again, it's Regia, so it's going to be good quality. And because people had touted Regia as being so fantastic, I realized they actually put their warranty, their 10-year warranty, inside.
There you go.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it says on the back too.
Yeah. So, I got this. It is the colorway 6364. It's really fun. Lime green, beige, and turquoises.
It reminds me of Felici.
So it'll become a fast pair of socks for somebody because it'll be knit on probably 3mm or 3.25 or something like that.
For somebody? You're a generous woman.
Somebody could be me.
If I bought that, that'd be mine.
So there you go. Next time I'm on your podcast, I will not have any stash.
Says no knitter ever.
And the other rule that I've made for myself is that I will not go back to Rhinebeck until I have used 90% of my Rhinebeck yarn. If there's one skein left of something, I'm okay with that.
Actually, I've already made a liar of you. The next time you're here, there will be stash.
Yeah. Oh, right. She doesn't know.
Because I'm going to Chicago, and one of our lovely viewers sent a skein of yarn for each of us.
Aww.
So,
Okay.
when I get back, well, unless you come on
You were
Thanksgiving
supposed to make
weekend.
an honest woman of me.
Oh, no, we're not recording. Okay. So, next time you're here, you will have stash.
Oh, boy. Thank you. And then I have to
So
say
will
thank
you.
you to the people who have sent minis. From Dixie, from Mandy. Oh, I'm off camera. From Andrea, and one little ball from Jen that has already turned into a square.
That's
thank
the
you.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I'm slow. I've been keeping them in their own bags, so that I can knit up the squares, and then they're going to end up
Crochet.
all over the blanket. There won't be an order to it, but really wonderful. Thank you so much. Actually, I've knit up a bunch of the ones that I got from Lara, and they're all in here. She sent some interesting yarns. I've never tried Koigu before. Have you guys ever used Koigu? I don't know if you can see that.
It's really pretty. It almost looks like pebbles at the bottom of a fish tank.
I was like, wow. The colorway was unknown, but there was three little minis of Baronwula or Baronwula.
Oh, which
and
Nina
my
loves
daughter
so
and
much.
I both love this one, which is the Glam Punk colorway. And she also sent some Republic of Wool, so it was really fun to be able to try some different yarns. Actually, that's one of the great things about this whole mini thing. You get all kinds of different colors, but you also get to try
different types of
yarns and see how they feel and the different colorways. And
I'm looking forward to breaking into Mandy's minis because she sent me a bunch of cupcake yarns.
Yes, I already did. Did you get one of these?
I don't know. I haven't
looked at them.
looked at it.
This is from Cuppy Cake. This is the confetti colorway, and I just have to try that one right away. So much fun. So, and actually, I'd kind of put my crochet blanket aside, and with all these minis coming in, it was really inspiring to me to get back into it. So, thank you.
So I
You
let me
ask,
get a
you
blanket
shall
this year.
receive.
You ask, you shall receive. I now have minis. Lots of minis.
So
And I
many
did
minis.
join a bit of a mini club on Ravelry, so I got more coming from there too.
So no, you're not gonna have any stash next time you're here.
So we
heard
have
this, right?
We have a giveaway. I showed you my stitch markers last week that I got from Mika, who is Shamika Clark, and she's Shamika Knits on Ravelry. So she sent a set of these owls, which, you know, they're not going to focus because...
Yes, it is. No.
Nope.
I don't have.
There we go.
There we go.
Set of those owls for a giveaway, as well as a set of what she calls her
The Rhinebeck.
the
set.
Rhinebeck set. Which
These are
is
stunning. I have to
really
say.
cute.
Really
So
cute.
we have wine in a little basket. Oh, if I can get this to...
Block your face. Nope.
Because no. We have a little sweater on needles.
I have an idea.
Do this. No, I'm going to do this. I can't see.
You don't need to see. They need to see. Nope. I
No,
need to
but you
push the
can see
camera.
well enough.
There we go.
There.
We have a ram.
I said sheep, and she's like, no, it's a ram.
We have the New York State. Oh, that's really not. There you go. And then there is a spinning wheel. So that's another set.
I have to say, Rhinebeck is still floating around in my head.
I know.
Especially,
We met her at Rhinebeck.
Shamika.
yeah, we met her at Rhinebeck, and it was making me think it's such a beautiful area. It's a great place to visit, the whole area. And we met that one woman from Italy who was actually going to be going to New York City after, and all kinds of... I mean, I was thinking, yeah, I could spend a whole week in that area, go hiking and go to
That's how I found the cabins.
Woodstock, and it's just... I mean, Rhinebeck itself too, meeting people who've watched the show and other podcasters, but the area too is just so gorgeous.
Yep.
Really, really recommend.
So back to the
going.
giveaway.
Sorry.
We're at an hour and a half, so I give up. Please visit her shop, which is Mecha Mika. I will link it in the thread in our Ravelry group. And respond in the thread with a picture of your favorite set of stitch markers in her shop. 1 post per person. You must post a picture. You must be a member of the group, and there's no chatter in the thread. And we will draw next time we record.
So all you have to do is go into her shop, right-click on the picture, copy it, and then post it in our thread.
Yep.
Yeah, and if there are more than one thing that you like, you can put them all in one post.
Yep.
And I apologize to anybody that I have not responded to PMs to. I have not had any internet since last weekend, so, and I'm not likely to anytime soon.
Yes, so those of you who won patterns, I will be gifting them to you. So they will be coming from Crafty Knitter 7 because no internet.
Sorry. Victoria, who won last week, well, you can PM her too, but she's the only one I haven't heard from yet. And I'm sorry, I did say I was going to contact you guys, but when I got home, there was no internet, and I can't afford to get it turned back on. So, no internet at my house. Victoria, if you see this, contact Sue. Let her know which one of the Kay Jones patterns you would like. And if she doesn't hear from you, she will contact you.
We unfortunately don't have time to answer questions. We do have questions in the Ask the Tangled Skeins, but we're running too late.
Well, we can answer the French one anyway.
No.
No?
Yes, we all speak French. Simple. Yes. Fluid.
My first language. Her first language. Not hers.
No. My second language.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't learn to speak English till I was in kindergarten.
I'm an Anglophone, but I was educated in French.
I'll school you in French later.
I was yelling at my husband
Ow!
in French earlier because it becomes our sort of code language at home.
That's okay. Every time you've pulled it in French, you've whacked me with it, so that was revenge.
Hey, I got called Katniss at work. I got called Hunger Games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My boss walked in and I was standing
'Cause,
where
you
she
know.
walks by and she's like, "Hey, Hunger Games!"
Katniss Everdeen is the only person who's ever worn a braid in the history of the world.
And then I was in the printing room and somebody else walked by and they're like, "Hey, Katniss!" And I'm just like, "Oh, it's just a braid."
Well, the movie is coming out next week, so maybe that's why.
It is.
So happy crafting, everybody. Hope you
care.
stuck around to the end.
Sorry.
We're winded. What can we say?
We'll answer the other question.
We're long-winded anyway.
The next time, Holly. Thanks a lot for the question. It's a lot of fun.
Talk to you later. Bye.